Man, you already know what it is. Jay Williams, Let's Live Life, and we're back. So you want to get old and go to prison. Maybe you were young when you went to prison. But I have met a lot of guys that went to prison for the first time in their 50s, 60s, 70s, and so on. Let me go ahead and let you know something. Being old is not going to give you a pass. What you did back in the day doesn't matter. If you're not still doing it, you're still not consistent in the game, don't nobody care what you did back in 1964. If you ain't still pushing that blade when it comes time, don't nobody care what you did back in 1991. Don't nobody care that you came in with 10 years, killed somebody, and ended up with a life sentence. These young bucks coming in, all they see is an old man. You would think that there's some type of code that says, hey, he's old, man, leave him alone. Nah. In prison, there are two types of people. Predator and prey. Being old is going to put you on the prey list, no matter what you've done. Keep your ass at home. Raise your grandbabies. Go out there and play in the garden. Wash your car on Sunday. Sit in your favorite chair and pet your dog. Don't go to prison. Prison is flooded with gangs and youngins. Young boys everywhere, waiting for an old guy to show up. Today we'll get into some of these old guys, how it ended for them, some of the reasons some of these guys were in prison, how what you did in the past is exactly what I just called it, the past. Y'all know how to seen it, you know how to lived it, so let's relive it. I've told y'all some stories in the past on some go hard old guys, man. Your Wild Mans, your John Waynes, your Ernie's, your Buddy Lees. There are some old guys that are very, very dangerous and that go hard. But now, the truth of the matter is, that's a small portion. Most of those old guys aren't going hard. A lot of them did go hard, and those days are coming to an end. A lot of these guys have calmed down in the hopes of one day making parole, in the hopes that if a law comes through and something changes, they're going to fall in the category of guys that are going to go home. Like I told y'all in yesterday's video, most times guys never really come to terms with the sentence they have to serve. You tell a man he's got a life sentence, and even if he went in at 18 years old, at 60 years old, a lot of times these guys still have hope. Even after being told life with no possibility of parole, life plus 300 years plus 200 years. So they'll use that as an excuse. Man, if I wasn't possibly getting out, I'd kill his little ass. It's one of the type of guys you got. The guys that are always hopeful that one day they're going home. They used to put in work, but now they're using the I might be going home as an excuse to stop. Then you got guys that have been there their whole lives that still think they can keep up with them young boys. Oh, I'll push that blade in him. And they've done it in the past. And they try to use it as a scare tactic. Their past is what they're going to use to try to convince you don't want no problems with them. Let me tell y'all about old Curtis, man. Curtis is one of those old heads that when you look at him, you know that he ain't no child molester. You know that just by looking at him. He didn't just get here. He didn't get locked up in his 50s or 60s. Curtis carries himself in a manner that lets you know he has been here a very long time. This man is a convict. Everybody knows about Curtis. Curtis killed his wife on the streets. I don't know how he killed his wife. I don't know. Shot, stabbed, choked, drowned. Don't have a clue. We just knew that Curtis had killed his wife on the streets. Curtis is one of these guys that doesn't care about that parole shit. He doesn't care about the fact that you're young. He doesn't care that he's old. He acts like he doesn't even know that he's old. He still conducts himself as if he's in his 20s. But this man is in his 60s now. Still in decent shape, but time has taken its toll. No matter how good a shape you are at 60 years old, you're still 60, not 20. That's just the bottom line. At the time, we have all the stealing going on. Robbing, stealing, extorting. Gangs are doing it. Dudes that aren't gang related are doing it. And the old guys and the guys that won't fight for themselves are the #1 prime targets. They're the guys that when guys start looking around at who they're going to get, they start mumbling amongst themselves that they pick on. Oh, man, look at the old head over there. Yeah, look at Pops. Look at old school. Shit, I go up in there and take his shit from him. It's the mentality they got. Then you got the dudes that, nah, don't do that. Don't do that. He might tell. What we'll do is we'll wait till they go to chow, or wait till they go out to rec, or when he goes to the shower, we'll get his cell pop, and we'll run up in there and we'll steal everything. Just take it all. Take commissary and everything, right? The old guys are falling victim left and right, man. I'm watching it, and they're more or less going at the guys that are old. They're going at young guys too, but the young guys they're going at are the ones that aren't gang affiliated. They're kind of the nice guys, the nerdy guys, the guys that aren't known for fighting, the ones that do not want any confrontation. That's who these guys are extorting. And it's not always stealing. You might have somebody walk up in your cell, pull a knife out, lean it down beside their leg and be like, hey, what's up, man? I'm going to need you to start putting a list together for me every single time you go to commissary. If not, I'm going to come back and this ain't it ain't going to be down beside my leg. I'm going to have it pointed out at you and you know what I'm going to do with it. So here's my list. Take that list, put it on your commissary. Same list. If I want to change it, I'll be by. It ain't much, man. $25, $30. Long as you do that, ain't nobody else going to mess with you. Seen it happen. That's pretty much you paying rent. With all this stealing going on at the time, like I told you, they're targeting old guys. Curtis does a big no-no. And I've told you all this in the past. The cell next to Curtis is get all their stuff taken. Dudes go in there, 2 old men, and take everything. Take all their commissary, their electronics, CD players. Old CDs they didn't even want, they took because even though they don't want them, you can sell them on the yard. Curtis is one of them dudes that has been in prison so long, he's put in work. He was up at the old prisons, the Wall, the old Southampton, prisons in Virginia that when you hear about him, you know, all right, he's been somewhere. Spring Street. These are places my pops was at. My dad was at. I used to hear war stories about. Curtis has stabbed people in the past. Curtis had, took attempts on other inmates' lives, had been stabbed. But here's the problem. You're old now. Now, all the old guys, a lot of these old guys know each other. If you've been in the system a long time, they know each other. They remember each other from here. They remember each other from there. They'll talk, hey, remember when this happened. But they don't really stick together. The old guys know, mind your business. Whatever he's got going on, got nothing to do with me. Cell next to Curtis gets robbed. Curtis gets wind of it. The guys are asking Curtis, man, you ain't see nobody come in here and take nothing, did you? Like, somebody took all our shit, man. They took the laundry, cosmetics, half-used toothpaste, half-empty bag of coffee, all the honey buns, all the Snickers bars, all the soups, all the zooms and whams, TVs, electronics. Like somebody had to see something. Dudes are seeing it, but ain't nobody saying nothing about it. The little dudes that are doing it at the time, these dudes in particular, are little gang members. Now, if you speak up and you go tell somebody, hey, I seen the gang members go in your cell, you don't just have to deal with them. You got to deal with the whole entire gang. Snitch on one, you snitched on all of them, right? So there's certain dudes in there that are watching these dudes steal these guys' stuff. I hadn't, with this situation in particular, I'm gone all day. I go to work. I get up first thing in the morning. I leave. I don't come back till sometimes 4:30 in the evening. There's times I work over, might not be back till 8, 9 o'clock at night. So as I'm coming in each day, I'm hearing, damn, man, they ran up somebody else's cell. They ran up somebody else's cell. I didn't know who was doing it. I'd heard little rumors, but I hadn't seen it myself. And I learned a long time ago, don't go off of everything you hear, right? as I just finished telling you, Curtis does one of the major no-nos. Curtis calls everybody out. Curtis doesn't address whoever it is in here that's stealing. If you know, think shit's sweet, you come over to my cell, I'm going to do this. That's not what Curtis does. Curtis comes out there and says, I don't care who the fuck it is. The moment something comes up missing in my cell, I'm making an example out of somebody. I've seen this done a couple times, and every single time I've seen it done, somebody takes it personal. There's somebody in there with a chip on their shoulder. That comment right there, I don't care who it is they're gonna take it personal. Like, oh, he's talking to me. You know what I mean? Like, he ain't scared of me, I'm gonna make him scared of me. Curtis does all this loud talking, walks out in the middle of the day room, in the middle of the pod, where everybody can hear it. I know the motherfucker in here that's stealing heard me. If you take my shit, you come for mine, I'll kill one of y'all. Y'all better ask about me. I've been in this motherfucker 40, 50 years. Ain't nobody ever took nothing from me. Try me and see what I do. I hear all this. This is bad. You shouldn't have done that. You should not have just called out everybody in here. You could have, if I wanted to, I could have took it like you were calling me out, because you pretty much called everybody out, right? The stealing continues. I'm thinking, man, they're going to run up in Curtis's shit just on GP. They don't. Not at first. About a month goes by. A couple of the dudes that were stealing get locked up. The guard sees them, go in somebody's cell, come out and go to their cell. That guard calls more guards in, gets on the microphone. Hey, I need assistance, 7 Bill 100 pod. They send 2 officers in. What's going on? Go in the boys' cell, check the cell out. I just seen them come out of that cell, get with the inmates that live in that cell and see if anything's missing. Sure enough, they catch a couple of little gang dudes red-handed with these dudes' electronics, TVs, all this other little shit. Now they're taking these are flat screen TVs, little 13-inch flat screen TVs we get, made by AMP to KTV, places like that. You can slide that TV right up underneath your shirt, take it on the yard, sell it. Now it's in another building. All the TVs look the same, so you got no way of proving it's yours. They're gonna scrape your name off, have the man with the tattoo gun engrave somebody's name on it. Curtis's cell gets hit. I come in from work, my celly's telling me, man, Curtis in this bitch snapping, man. What happened? Man, they ran up in Curtis's cell. I thought they locked the dudes up that was stealing. He's like, nah, they locked some little gang dudes up. Like, I knew they were gang members. He's like, but you already know how it is. If they only lock 2 of them up, chances are it's a lot more of them stealing, right? He said Curtis snapped today. Curtis come out here showing off the knife, talking about when he finds out who did it, he's gonna kill them. He don't care how many of them it is. They got him fucked up. He's an OG. He's this. He's a killer. He killed people before. He stabbed people before. He ain't afraid to be stabbed. This is when running your mouth goes wrong. If you're going to do something to somebody, do it. Don't talk about it. Don't announce it. Don't put it on Front Street unless you absolutely have to. Figure out who it is and go do what the fuck you're going to do, right? I got in that day maybe 4:30. We go eat chow. Come back and chow. We lock down. I sit in there. I watch the evening news. Get my shower stuff ready. After count, I'm going to go take a shower. I'm not going to night rec. It's more like towards the winter time when we ain't got night rec at this point. Doors pop. I head over to the shower. I hear all this fucking commotion while I'm in the shower. Now, Curtis sleeps maybe 5, 6 cells down. I think he was in like cell 6. Yeah, I think he was in cell 6 from the shower. I hear all this commotion, all this hooting and hollering and screaming and tussling and fighting, right? And I step to the shower door with soap all on my face. I look over the shower door because you need to keep a check on your surroundings. Look around. I don't see nothing. I'm like, man, what the fuck? Somebody's in this bitch wrecking. Whatever. Go back to soaping up, washing myself off. Try to make it a quick shower so I can figure out what's going on. Rinse off, dry off with the towel, throw my boxers on, throw a white tee on, throw my shower shoes on, come out with my dirty clothes. I head over to my cell and I look up at the top tier. Bunch of gang members up there congregating, just talking. You know what I mean? It's nothing out the ordinary. Look around and dude just looking over in the direction of Curtis's cell, right? I go in the cell, I shut the door, I ask myself, what the hell's going on? He's like, man, them young boys just beat the shit out of old Curtis over there in his cell. What? Man, they beat the shit out of Curtis in that cell. They ran up in that cell and smashed Curtis. I mean, just beat the fuck out of Curtis in that cell. I said, nah, man, not old. Curtis like, yeah, I guess them little slick comments he make, you know, after he got robbed and shit, before he got robbed, dudes got tired. I said, well, who ran up on him? He's like, the gang members, man. He's like, they, you know, it started in the pod. They was arguing. They told him, we don't give a shit about that. Curtis pulled the knife out, told him, come in the cell. They went in that cell, took that knife from Curtis, and beat the shit out of Curtis, man. Curtis laying in there on the floor all fucked up. Nothing happened after that. You would think Curtis would have been the one to take that knife and go stab with them boys after all this happened. Didn't happen. Curtis realized he was living in a different penitentiary. He was living in a different time. He was living in a different world. He ain't going over there and stabbing nothing, because it ain't like it was back when he got locked up in the 60s or 70s or whenever the hell he got locked up was. Back then, if you and a man had a problem, you and that man could solve it. Even back when I first started going to prison, there was gangs. And when I first started going to jail, you know, out in Philadelphia, there wasn't no gangs. If you had a problem with somebody, unless he had some homeboys he knew from the streets, or he was flocked up with dudes, like North Philly would kick it with North Philly, and South Philly cats would be the South Philly, Southwest would be the Southwest, and West Philly. Now, if you want to call that a gang, that's a gang, but that's more or less just neighborhoods and, you know, areas sticking together. The gangs weren't like that. It was the same way when Curtis came in. When Curtis came in, if you and a man had an issue, y'all would go in the cell, shut the door, and the best man comes out, right? Curtis knows those days are gone. We all know those days are gone. And if you get into one of them gang members, you can't live there no more, especially if you win. If you stab one of them, you hurt one of them, you get your thing off on one of them. Retaliation is a must, and they are going to come back. Curtis continued to live in the pod. The stealing continued to go on. And them dudes continued to do what they did. They humbled Curtis. Fucked Curtis all up. Curtis had to walk around with his face all beat in. This old man that was once a young man that was putting in work. At one point in time, I don't think many of them could have beat him on a one-on-one. But those days had come and gone. And Curtis hadn't accepted the fact yet that he was living in a new day and a new era. He hadn't accepted the fact yet that he had gotten old. And that them young boys don't give two shits about that. Let's get into the next one. I've spoke about my homeboy BK in the past. BK is a white dude, Italian, maybe 5'8", maybe 5'9". I don't remember him being that tall. Maybe 5'8". Probably a good solid 245, 255. Very strong guy. Have been locked up since the mid-90s. BK told me he left against the wishes of the girl that he was chilling with that night. She was like, why don't you just stay here? Don't go with him. He goes with his homeboy. They go to sell some coke. Said he'd been up all night. He's in the passenger seat. He sleep. Then fell asleep in the car. They're like a little, I don't know if it was a McDonald's, a Hardee's, a Wendy's. I can't remember now. But they're one of those type of places out in Portsmouth. Portsmouth being a place in Virginia. Said his homeboy gets out the car and goes to deal with the dudes. Next thing you know, he hears gunshots. Wakes up out of his sleep. He's in the passenger seat. They're shooting at his homeboy. They're in the, you know, these dudes are trying to rob his homeboy for the coke. He said he got his homeboy's gun. He ended up killing two of the guys and leaving one paralyzed and in a wheelchair for the rest of his life. So, off to prison BK goes. BK is my ace. BK's not coming home. He's got so much time that he knows it's pretty much a done deal. He's got 2 bodies and an attempt. Me and BK would work out together, make food together, do everything together. You know what I mean? It's like one of my dudes from the streets. We clicked as soon as we met each other, and we were pretty much day in, day out. That was my dude, man. Still is my guy. Sitting at the table with BK one day, we didn't have no wrecks. Something was going on outside, so we're all confined to the inside of the pod. I'm not one of them dudes that wants to sit up in the cell all day. So I'm sitting at the table talking to BK, and we get a whole bunch of new intakes. Now with the new intakes, pause, Red Bull. Just because they're new coming into our pod does not mean they just got to prison. The man that just walked in, you might assume he just got here, but he could have been locked up somewhere else 40 years. Could have been locked up his whole life. He just so happened to get shipped from that place to this place. He's the new guy in here, but he's not new to the prison. He's been around in a lot of these cases. We're watching the new guys come in. BK goes, oh shit. I look up. What's up? That's Spank. Who the hell is Spank? He goes into the story of Spank. When I look at the guy, he doesn't look like a threat to me. Doesn't look like anybody I should be worried about. This dude's old. Late 60s, maybe 70 years old. He says, Spank's a booty bandit, huh? I said, the old man? He was like, he wasn't always old. He done got mad old since the last time I seen him. He said, I think the last time I seen him was like 98, 99. He caught a rape charge in the prison, raped another inmate, and got shipped off. 23-in-1 compound, way up in the hills, way up in the mountains, as we call it. They shipped Spank away. Spank got a rape charge, another inmate. Spank was notorious for being a booty bandit, turning young dudes out. Okay, great. Keep my eye on this old head, you know what I mean? The old head likes to try to do weird things. So he gives me more stories, more backstories on things he had heard, on things he had seen take place with Spank. BK's been in the prison a long time, right? I'm not worried about Spank. I've been in here long enough that I know how these dudes function. They work on certain elements. Either it be fear, manipulation, friendship, power. They do all these different things to get next to somebody, and then they move in on them. I'm not going to ever let you get close to me, get next to me. None of that's ever going to happen. Just off the fact I know that you were once a booty bandit, me and you ain't got nothing where you can stay away from me, you know what I mean? He comes on in, this old man, goes over to his cell, meets his cellmate. 20, 30 minutes goes by, comes out, makes himself a cup of water, makes himself some coffee, and me and BK are still, just sitting there talking. BK's still telling me about Spank. That conversation passes. I don't think much more about Spank, right? Guys, when they come into the prison, even if you've been there for a long time or you've been locked up for a long time, they're kind of standoffish. But guys know Spanks that are going up and talking to him. The other old guys and guys that have done time with him in the past. Hey, Spank, what's up, man? Where you been? I ain't never think I'd see you again. Didn't you get sent to the mountains? And they're just chopping it up with this old black man. Like I told you, Spank's in his late 60s. Looks like he was once in good shape, but not no more. Now he looks like an old man that was once in good shape. Spank's probably 6 foot tall, right? The more I look at him, I'm like, yeah, he's definitely got that booty bandit aura to him. Always grinning, always smiling, laughing at shit that ain't funny, right? We got a younger black dude in our pod. And BK had already told me, he's like, Spank ain't going after white dudes. Spank sticks to his own. Spank likes black dudes. We got a younger black dude in our pod that I honestly thought the dude was fucking nuts. I thought he was crazy. I've met people before that pretended they knew karate, pretended they knew jujitsu, or they would tell you they were an MMA fighter, and then you watch them fight and they get beat completely up. This young black dude is always, he stays to himself. He's very humble, very nice, standoffish. And that's what these booty bandit dudes like Spank look for. They look for the lone wolf, the guy that doesn't have a lot of friends, the guy that if they pounce on, they don't have to worry about retaliation or anybody jumping in and interfering, right? Daily, you would see the young black dude doing this karate stuff. He'd be underneath the staircase kicking, be out on the backyard kicking, doing windmill kicks, jumping in the air and kicking. And I would look and I'd be like, damn, it kind of looks like dude knows what he's doing. But I've seen dudes before that looked like they knew what they were doing and then get the shit beat out of them, right? All this shit starts in the chow hall. Spank goes over and sits down at his table one day. And Spank has been in our pod probably 2 months at this point, man. Maybe, give or take a couple weeks, 2 months. He's testing the waters. I'm thinking, man, dude's a retired booty bandit. If he's a booty bandit, he damn sure ain't done nothing in here, you know what I mean? Like, he ain't messing with none of the boys. He ain't, man, that dude ain't no booty bandit no more. He goes and sits down at the table with the young black dude. There's 3 dudes sitting there, including the young black dude. There's 1 seat left. He sits down at the table of 4. Eating his food. Asks the young black dude, man, I don't even like this type of cake. You want this cake? Hell yeah, I'll take the cake. Hands it to him. Finishes his tray. Doesn't say nothing. That was their introduction. That was him testing the waters with the young black dude, right? A couple days goes by. I come out my cell and young black dude sitting at the table and Spank sitting there talking to him. I know people have told him, hey, dude used to be a booty bandit. But he doesn't talk to enough people, so he might not have been told. Spank's just sitting there with him, making conversation with him. From that point forward, I start seeing him and Spank talking more and more. They're sitting over the benches, watching TV. Fast forward, they're making food together. I hear dude get loud with Spank one day. Spank tries him, walks by, slaps him on his ass. Dude turns around, hey, you can't do that again. Spank, oh, my bad, man, I didn't mean to. Spank was testing the waters to see where the young buck was at, see what he was going to do about it. It shouldn't have been no, you can't do that again. I don't care how cool him and Spank were. He was supposed to split Spank shit as soon as Spank, you know, touched him in a way he didn't like, right? Spank started making little comments to this dude, and I'm hearing this through other people like, yo, Spank's done told dude a couple times he's cute, and dude ain't really saying nothing about it. He be like, man, go ahead, Spank, go ahead with that bullshit, man. This ain't the 60s no more, man. You can't, come on, chill with that dumb shit. He's doing this to see how far he can go with it, right? It continues. I knew that the shit was going to end bad when the young dude was in the shower one day and he got these half-stalled doors and Spank was looking around the room, a lot of people outside the wreck, and he walks over to the shower where the young dude's at and steps up, and these are single-man showers. No point for you to be looking in there. And to look in there, you got to look over the door. He walks up to the door, looks over the door at the young dude, goes, what's up, man? What you doing? Like he don't know what the dude's doing, trying to make small talk. And you hear dude in the shower telling myself, hey, man, get away from the shower door, man. Type of weird shit you on, man. I'm here naked. Back the fuck up from the shower door, right? Spank rolls out. We all go to wreck one day. We come back in. These two dudes ain't talking. Spank standing over this door, looking all crazy in the face. And as I get closer and I'm walking up, I notice Spank's lips are swole all the fuck the way up. I get talking to people now. I'm like, yo, what the fuck happened to Spank? I said, man, Spank went up and tried that young dude in that cell. Went in the cell and everybody went to wreck. The young dude stayed in there. Spank fell back, I guess, plotting on him. Thought that now was the time to try to jump on him. You got to remember now, this man's old. He ain't 30, 40 years old no more. These young boys ain't having that shit. So Spank went up in the cell and they got to tussling in the cell and the young boy backed up out the cell, I guess like trying to get away from him. Spank proceeded to come towards dude. Dude jumped up and kicked Spank in his mouth. A little bit later that evening, I'd see Spank talking. Dude broke his dentures when he kicked him in his mouth. Completely broke all that. So the part that's supposed to pop in, that shattered in half, busted his lips, left his shit leaking. Spank never tried him again. Spank ended up getting moved to another building. I guess he figured, well, ain't nobody gonna respect me in here. I ain't taking no ass in here. Young boy that kicked me all in my mouth, broke my teeth all up. Now I gotta go to medical. Just goes to show you, you can't be who you once were. You can't be 60-some years old still thinking you a thug, still thinking you a booty bandit. Spank's name was notorious. Dudes that said, man, back in the day, Spank would put that knife on you. Hey, back in the day, man, I'm telling you, Spank used to, well, I'd seen Spank do this. Spank had already got convicted of a rape charge while incarcerated, tried the waters with that young dude, and failed miserably. Got his dentures broken. You ever find yourself in a position like that, to where you're incarcerated? Watch real careful who you have around you. You always got to move in a manner of, why is he offering me this? This isn't a place where people give things away. This isn't a place where things come free. Now, if BK was to offer me something, I would accept it, because I knew BK. I knew why he was locked up. I knew what to expect with him. But guys like Spank, just their reputation alone, you need to listen. I told y'all the story about my homeboy, and I warned him about Treetop, and he didn't listen. Ended up walking the yard with Treetop. Ended up being a whole entire boy. Dude wasn't having it, and dude really knew that kung fu shit. I didn't see him kick the dude in the mouth, but from the reenactment, I'm talking about, and dudes were clowning the shit out of Spank. Spank would walk by, and a random dude just like, ah, jump up and do a kick. Yeah. Once a booty bandit, always a booty bandit. But it don't mean that what you once did, you're still going to be able to do. Now, what I don't want you to do is think that and going to prison or going to jail, that every old guy is soft. Because they're not. Don't think that you can go in there and just beat every old man up that you see. Because I've met some that could still give them young dudes a run for their money. But that coulda, shoulda, woulda, what I used to do shit, to most dudes, it don't matter. To the gangs, they don't give a shit what you're currently doing, much less what you used to do. Watch your surroundings. Live your best life. Don't have to deal with the old spanks. Don't ever have to deal with a booty bandit. If you learn martial arts, go on to teach martial arts. Teach your kids martial arts. Don't put yourself in a situation to where you got to jump up and rearrange somebody's dentures. What if Spank was 20 years younger and went up in that cell and that dude didn't know none of that shit? He'd have been another one of Spank's victims. Dude was able to get up out of there. Spank still pursued him. And he spanked Spank's ass. But anyways, leave the old guys alone. Leave them alone, man. Unless they've done something heinous, leave them be. Don't pick on people, man. I don't care if they're young or old. Leave people be, man. Love one another. You ain't got no reason to be messing with nobody. The man's doing his time just like you are. Unless it's a spank. If it's a spank, hey, stay away from him. And if the time comes, nip that shit in the bud. When he sits down at the table and says, hey, you want this cake? I don't care how hungry you are. Nah, I'm good. If he tries to open up conversation with you, don't speak to him. Tell him, look, man, I ain't with all that talk stuff, man. I ain't here to make friends. If you're going to stick to yourself, stay to yourself. Don't open up to somebody and you don't know who the hell they are. Anyways, these jails, detention centers, prisons, these facilities, they're all just crazy worlds inside of this already crazy world we live in. And as always, y'all know what I'm doing. I'm just trying to keep y'all entertained. Are you not entertained? And like always, it says Jay Williams, let's live life. To all my real ones, and there are some real ones watching, because y'all still watching me. Man, y'all know how we do. Salute.